Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first EIC e-pitching out of 6 pitching sessions here at the EIC Summit. My name is Jan Bandler. I will be the moderator of this pitching session, and it's great to have you here on site, but also online via Zoom. It's great that you join us all for this pitching sessions. I want to welcome our 5 companies that will present their technologies on climate change in a couple of minutes. And I also want to welcome our investor jury who has selected the 5 companies pitching today. And the jury, the VCs and CVCs, are among the top VCs in the European venture capital ecosystem. So we are very proud that we have them here. And I hope you enjoy the session. And I explain a little bit of the rules. So each company is now pitching for 5 minutes. You see a 5 minutes pitch. Following these pitching sessions, we go for a 3-minute of Q&A, where I ask our investor jury to actively ask questions, straight questions, and please, the entrepreneurs, as we have limited time, please answer as well very short and precise, so that we can have as many questions as possible. For the online participants, I ask everybody to rename yourself in Zoom to your name and company name so that we can see who is addressing a company. If you have a question online, please use the raise hand function in Zoom, and then they will let me know that you have a question, and I will give the floor to you. Also here for our on-site participants, if you have a question, just raise your hand and I will give the floor to you. I'm very happy to announce that we also have additional meeting opportunities for companies and investors. As a lot of you are attending online today, we will have a full day of one-to-one meeting sessions next week on Monday via Zoom. So if you see a company today you want to meet, please let us know. My colleague Marcia is sharing a meeting form in the Zoom chat after each pitch, where you can select the companies and a time slot you want to meet, and then we will set up a meeting for everybody. We also have participants that are visiting us via the broadcast. You unfortunately cannot click on that form, but you can send me an email on the email address we are going to show you at the end of the session. And with that said, I now want to give the floor to our first company, which is Ecohelix AB from Sweden. And I invite Petri for the first pitch of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very exciting to be the first one here today to present. Yes, my name is Petri Oinonen. I'm the CEO and founder of Ecohelix. Let's see that the technology works first. Waiting for some slides to appear. Seems that we have some technical problems here, but I'm sure they will soon figure it out. All right, here we go. So, my name is Petri Oinonen. I'm the CEO and founder of Ecohelix. We're a Stockholm-based company right now in the scale-up phase, and we were producing bio-based polymers from forestry. I'm afraid. Okay, here we go. So the modern pulp mills are very efficient and streamlined machines, but still the underlying fact is that about 45% of wood consists of cellulose, which is the main product from the mills. Lignin has some application areas, but together with hemicellulose, they end up in the recovery cycles or as organic emissions. And this creates bottlenecks in the production and high wastewater treatment cost. On the other hand, we have oil-based plastics and other products on the market that creates problems for the human health and environment, at least if you cannot recycle them. They also create greenhouse gas emissions. Right now, the EU legislation and consumer trends are really pushing the industry to provide bio-based solutions on the market. And these two facts combined creates a business opportunity for Ecohelix. At Ecohelix, we utilize side streams from the pulping industry. These side streams are often very heterogenic, low molecular weight, difficult to utilize as they are. We use membrane filtration and enzyme technology to create Ecohelix polymers. We have increased the molecular weight and introduced certain functional groups that greatly improves the applicability of these polymers. Not only that we can create these polymers, we can also significantly improve the process, the host process that we're working with. It's a very simple process, utilizes an industrial enzyme produced to us by Novozymes. Our main target market is the pulp and paper chemicals within the paper-based packaging market. And this sector is growing very fast, responding to the need to create sustainable packaging solutions to the market. In more detail, together with our cooperation partner Kemira, we're concentrated in barriers, surface treatment and strength, and dispersants. But we also work with other companies within cosmetics, adhesives, and surfactants. Competition comes from petroleum-based and food-based products produced by large companies. But at Ecohelix, we have realized several unique selling points relating to the performance, sustainability, and raw material sourcing. Our value chain, we are between the pulp mills that produce the raw material for us and the chemical companies that takes our polymers to the end use in industrial and consumer use. To our industrial partners, to the mill partners, we can create improved process and also revenue from selling us the raw material to us. And through this, we get a very large volumes of raw material to our process. To our chemical company partners, we create these sustainable polymers, and these chemical companies then can create climate impact and better products by using our technology. We're right now in demo production. Here you can see a nice picture of our demo unit. It's a fully automatic online unit with about 100 square meter footprint. It has cost us about 1.7 million to produce. Next stage is to take this process into large scale at the Domsjö mill to 15,000 tons per year. The engineering of this unit has already started, and it has an investment cost of about 50 million euros. Beyond Domsjö mill, we are also looking into other mills, and we have identified 199 mills globally that could utilize our technology. Here you can see the production ramp up of the first 3 mills, and to finance the first mill in Domsjö, we're now looking in, we're arranging Series A at the 3rd quarter of next year. We have a great team, expertise in relevant areas in biotechnology, chemistry, and pulping technology. Former technical chief of the Domsjö mill, a founder of engineering firm, and also great investors. 2 of them are former mill owners. Yeah, thank you very much.
So thank you very much for this pitch. Great pitch, very well done. Do we have any questions, either from on-site participants or from our online jury members? Please, online jury members, use raise hand function. Okay, we have a first question online from Sustain. Please go ahead. Sustain, you can share your question. I think she can't hear us.
Okay. Should we proceed from there?
We can hear you now.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for the presentation. The question I have is around your business model. Just wanted to clarify whether you're getting paid for using the streams coming out of the mills. And if not, if there are any competing applications for those waste streams. And then the other, I guess, pillar of your business model will be the direct sale of polymers to the chemicals company. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the first question was about, could you repeat the first question? I'm sorry.
Yes, the waste streams you're using as a feedstock, are you getting those free? Are you paying to get those? Are you getting paid? Because you're essentially removing waste for those mills?
Yeah, so different mills have a little bit different kinds of setups, and it depends. Some mills have such severe bottleneck problems that in those cases we would we will basically adjust the raw material cost based on what kind of benefits and foreseen monetary value from taking these side streams we could provide the mill with. So it depends on, obviously, it's all about how you agree with the host mill, but certainly that is an aspect that we want to bring forward, that we can really improve the process and create value that way.
Okay, thank you very much. We have only one more question we can allow. I saw, Ines, you had a question on site, so please.
My question is, when do you plan to commercialize? When do you plan to commercialize?
Yeah, so we already are selling some of our polymers from the demo unit in smaller niche applications, but the real large-scale application of these polymers can only be done in a large-scale production unit, and this will be then established through the A round and the establishment of the first large-scale production unit at the Domsjö mill. Yeah, so that will be at the second quarter of 2024.
Okay, Petri, thank you very much for answering the questions. I know we had two more in the chat, but I ask you to follow up with us, and we are more than happy to put you directly in contact with the company. My colleague Marcia is now sharing a form in the chat where you can book a meeting with EcoHelix and Petri, ask additional questions, dive a little bit deeper. We are happy to connect. And with that said, I now want to hand it over to our first online participant, which is Heat Venters, and I hand it over to Rita. Please enjoy the session.
Hi, my name is Rita, CEO and co-founder of Heat Venters. I hope you can hear my voice. Our solution, Heat Tank, is the new generation of thermal energy storage systems, which saves energy, money, and space. Our vision is to open a new 250 million euro market using our practical thermal batteries and decrease carbon footprint with sustainable energy. Today, the heating and cooling energy is generated when it is needed, instead of when it is the most economical and the most efficient. With our thermal battery, we change this. Traditionally, heat is stored by changing the temperature of the water. Instead of water, we use special biomaterials called phase change materials. By changing the phase, like melting and solidification, we can reduce storage volume by 90%, save at least 20 to 50% energy, with a total return on investment within 3 to 5 years. You can imagine our solution as a huge ice cube, because you know when you put ice in your drink, it cools it down really fast and it stays cold for a long time. Heat Venters products are patented, customizable, yet scalable, thanks to our algorithm and flexible manufacturers. We make the thermal battery easy to use, highly efficient, and affordable to break market barriers down. Compared to the water storage, Heat Tank is smaller in size and usable for cooling as well. Compared to the other phase change storages, heat tank is more efficient, thanks to the patented structure, and we have faster return on investment. Our product consists of 3 parts. We have a patented structure, and we manufacture it with international manufacturers. For the different phase change materials, we have many different suppliers from Europe and from Asia for the different materials, but we are always working with materials which are safe for the environment, not toxic, and not dangerous in an energy system. And the third part is our control system, which is also patented and made by us. And also with our control system, we provide energy reports on a monthly basis, where the customer can see the savings. The global thermal energy storage market in Europe is 6 billion euro, and it is rapidly growing. Our solution is usable to store the heating and the cooling energy as well, but now we are focusing on the cooling solutions, and our main target segments are data centers, telecommunication sites, and commercial buildings. How does it work? Heat tank increases your cooling energy costs by 20 to 50%. The phase change material is inside the storage around the pipes which are connected to the HVAC system. When we have extra cooling energy and the cold water goes through the storage fills up while the phase change material solidifies. When we need the cooling energy and the warmer water goes through the storage cools it down while the phase change material melts. With this process, we ensure to save energy, reduce the CO2 emission, and help our customers to achieve their sustainability goals. Also, we can increase the operational safety and increase the lifetime of the cooling system. We already sold systems in Hungary, Italy, Portugal, and Indonesia for server cooling, office and hotel building cooling, and for shopping center cooling, also for gas engine heat recovery and office building cooling. The average return on investment is 3.5 years. We have a multi-channel business models. We have our own salesperson for direct sales, but we are building a wide indirect sales channels with agent distributors and ESCO companies. We need investment to achieve our goals. In 2020, we will build and validate our sales channels. In 2023, we will focus on serial production and the international market. And in 2024, we will scale up. We have a dedicated team with diverse technical and business skills. Also, we have 2 investors to help us with network and experience. The core team is responsible for our R&D, engineering design, marketing, and sales activity, and we outsource the manufacturing. With this team, we patented the technology, won many awards, and stepped to the market. Heat tank, a cool way to store heat.
Very much, Rita, for this great presentation, and thanks to Heat Ventures. Do we have any questions from the audience or our online jury? Okay, we're checking. Okay, Christian Bose from SAP. Christian, please go ahead.
Just a quick one to Rita in regards of the, as I'm not a specialist in that area, I would be interested how you see the competitive market, which are your biggest competitors in here.
So, in case of heating, our biggest competitor is the water storage because it is a well-known technology, but it is not usable for cooling, and our main target segment is cooling. There are other phase change material storages on the market, but they had worse performance and longer return on investment. Also, they are focusing mainly on the B2C solutions. So we are almost the only one on the cooling and on the B2B market, and our real competitors are the other energy saving solutions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question from Anouk. Anouk, please go ahead.
Hi, Rita, thank you. I have a question about, it's more if you could explain some details on the business model with respect to the manufacturing of the units and who is going to be doing that for you as you scale.
So we manufacture the storage and the control system here in Hungary, and we order the phase change material from other suppliers. for selling our product, we have our own sales team, but also we are building our sales channels, and we are working together with international distributors and ESCO companies.
Okay, we have another question from Munich Venture Partners. Beatrice, please go ahead.
Thank you, Rita, for the great pitch. Could you give us a rough estimate of how many units you already have installed in the market?
So we installed 10 products, 7 installations here in Hungary, and 1 in Italy, 1 in Portugal, and 1 in Indonesia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we're running out of time for more questions, but as always, my colleague Marcia is sharing a contact form in the chat. So please, if you want to follow up with Heat Ventures and Rita, please click on that form, select a meeting next week on Monday, and we are happy to connect you with the company. For Heat Ventures, thank you very much, Rita. All the best. We stay in contact if we receive meeting requests. And then I want to hand it over to our third company, which is on site again, which is Heyday Integrated Circuits. Bernard, it's your floor.
Hello. Can I start? Okay, thank you very much. Welcome to Heyday, energy conversion made simple with power-through isolated gate drivers. My name is Bernard, and I'm responsible for growth at Heyday. Yes. The problem: a lot of electricity is being lost in conversions. And conversions happen with the help of power electronics modules, but they have 4 pain points. They're bulky, inefficient, costly, and complex. New materials introduced recently solve the first 2 issues. However, they add even more complexity to the power modules, and they make them more expensive. The solution is power-through gate drivers developed by Heyday. On the picture here, you can see a blue PCB board. That's a traditional board. Thanks to our gate driver, we get the green board that's below, and the gate driver is this little component that I'm holding in my hand. And thanks to this, the board shrinks in size by 2. And in a subsystem, we have multiple boards, and the impact is thus huge. For example, for an on-board charger of an electric vehicle, we reduce the volume from 28 liter to 12 liter. So other benefits beside volume and number of components, its system cost is decreasing as well, and the energy losses in conversion are decreased as well. Those benefits have been validated already by an European automotive OEM. So the market that we address is the isolated gate driver and power supply market. It's worth 3 billion. However, it's of strategic importance for the 30 times bigger power market. Why? Because with a superior gate driver, we get a superior power module, as we just saw in the previous slide. Our ambition is to get 10% of the serviceable obtainable market within 5 years. The competition, it's all the big names in the semiconductor industry. However, their products are either too expensive and or not efficient enough, and they are complex. We bring simplicity to the table with much more efficiency at the same time. So our business model is a fabless B2B model. We rely on established suppliers. We have multiple sales channels, and multiple corporations and distribution partnerships are being set up. And with volume, we obtain a healthy 60+% gross margin. The roadmap. Currently, we are in our market entry phase. That phase takes quite a lot of time, as you can see. That's because between the first sale to a client and achieving multi-million annual recurring sales, up to 5 or 6 years can go by. So we have received, to achieve our ambitions, we are aiming at 13.5 million required funding, 3.5 million in a Series A early next year, and that's to finalize the volume setup, and then a Series B to scale up in 18 months' time. We have an experienced international team with a proven track record, and we can build and rely on the support of our advisory board with a lot of industry experience. So we have received significant praise for our products, and this is a unique opportunity to invest in a semiconductor startup that is of strategic importance both for the EU and for the transition towards clean energies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bernard, for this great presentation again. And I'm giving the floor to our jury members on-site or online. Do you have any questions? Okay, we have a question from ETF. Remy, please go ahead.
Yeah, tell us, you mentioned that you are fabless. Who is going to be your foundry? Is today's semiconductor shortage creating a challenge for you?
It has been a challenge, but not a big one. We were out of stock for a while last summer because of the shortages, but we have now secured enough supply for the coming years, and we have supply agreements with them, and they can easily accommodate our growth.
But you keep the name of the foundry confidential?
The foundry we're using at the moment is X-FAB. They have multiple factories where they can make our chips, and for the moment it's the factory in Malaysia that made the last batch, and we can switch over to a new foundry, another foundry near Paris if we want.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, then we have another question from M Ventures. Sarah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious, I mean, what do you see as sort of the main hurdle to adoption from a customer standpoint?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
What do you see from the customer standpoint as their major hurdle to adopting your technology?
Why they would adopt our technology? Is that the question?
Or why would they hesitate? What would be your major hurdle to overcome in persuading them?
Oh, the major hurdle is actually their willingness to innovate. As we see that especially with automotive clients, where they have to change, but the willingness to innovate is lower. However, at the moment we are working with them, we are in their prototypes for the next generation onboard chargers, and we see the change coming where the adoption of new technologies is seen as not too risky, but it's a slow process.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, do we have more questions?
There's one.
I was thinking, why is it a problem for companies? Because basically they're switching from a product that they already have to yours, which brings a lot of efficiency. Like, what is the risk first? And second, I was curious about what's your traction now?
So I'll start with the first question. So they perceive the risk not necessarily in us, but we help to make better power modules that go with the new materials I mentioned, and that's those new materials they're a little bit afraid for the moment. For more details, for example, Tesla and other companies are using silicon carbide in the automotive industry, but not yet GaN, gallium nitride, and we are helping GaN to move forward, and that's where the reluctance is. It's in the GaN material, not in our innovation per se. For the moment. And I didn't catch your second question. The traction, well, we have clients in 15 countries. We have sold thousands of gate drivers, and we have received quotes, requests for more than 100 million units. So I believe the traction is starting to be interesting.
Okay, thank you very much. Time is over. Very well done, Bernard. Thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
And as always, if you want to meet Bernard and Heyday, please go to the Zoom chat, click on the form, and we are happy to put you in contact with the company to schedule additional meetings. And now we have our fourth company from Germany. It's Ineratech. I see they are already ready. So Tim, your turn. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. My name is Tim Böltgen. I'm one of the founders and managing directors of Ineratech. We are based in Karlsruhe. We are founded in 2016, and we have a headcount of over 60 people already. So why do I tell you about innovative chemical reactor technologies today? This is actually because we have a problem that everyone knows. It's called global warming, and it's actually caused by burning fossil fuels. While we have a solution which is there for individual mobility, that is called electromobility, we urgently need solutions for aviation, for shipping industry, and also for the chemical industry. And our solution is a very modular chemical reactor technology, very modular chemical plants that can convert the greenhouse gas CO2 and renewable hydrogen directly into renewable fuels, such as clean diesel, green kerosene, CO2 neutral kerosene, and also shipping fuels. And our USP is actually that our technology is very compact and modular, and we bring the chemical reactor technology to the place where either renewable energy is generated or where the CO2 is produced. And this we do actually with the very most compact reactor technology you can find in the world. It's developed in the past 20-25 years at the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology. It is microstructured in its core, and it can be multiplied actually by modularization. And this is also how we scale up our business model. It is called numbering up. So we can multiply the number of our reaction foils, of our microstructured reaction foils. We can multiply the number of reactors per module, and then we can actually multiply the number of modules. And by that, we have already achieved to be in the industrial scale. We have built up a plant with a capacity of 350 tons per year, and we are currently in the final stages for the development of a plant with a capacity of 350 tons per year, which can then be also further multiplied. So how do we earn money? Actually, we have two business models. The one business model is that we have a plant sale model. This we have since 2016. We have already built and sold 14 of these very compact modular plants to customers. And since 2020, we have a so-called build, own, operate business model, where we actually develop our own projects, and we do not sell the chemical plants, but we sell the fuels coming out of the plants directly to the end customers. So I talked already about the industrial scale plant. Here is a picture of it. You have seen it in the beginning. We have actually built two of these plants already. One is for a customer from aviation, so-called Sphere. The plant is built and currently in commissioning phase. It has already produced the first products out of renewable electricity, green hydrogen, water, and CO2 coming from the biogas plant. And we are very proud of this because this is the biggest power-to-liquid plant for the production of synthetic kerosene in the world currently. We are further up, as mentioned. Currently, we are securing the funds for our next project. It's a 3,500 tons per year plant. We will do the investment in the so-called industrial park in Frankfurt. It will be approximately 30 million investments, and we are currently negotiating 5-year offtakes agreements with partners. What differentiates Ineratech maybe from other startups is that we have been profitable since our foundation in 2016. Here I show you the performance in the last 3 years we were having. And as you also can see from the numbers, by 2022, we are planning that the e-fuel business or the e-fuel selling business is kicking in. And then you can see our trajectories for the revenues in the next years. With that, I conclude. I'm looking forward to your questions. And here you can also see that we have some awards, which we're very proud of. Thank you very much.
Very well done. Do we have any questions to Tim and Ineratech? Yeah. One moment.
I actually have two questions. First one is, what are the risks of operating such a reactor? And second, what prevents you from mass adoption? Because
So I think both questions belong to each other. So we, of course, one risk in chemical industry is always scaling up the technology. We solve this issue actually by numbering up. So we have actually demonstrated that our technology works in a certain scale. But of course, the larger the plants get, you have some scaling up risks, which you have to show your partners, your customers, and also your investors that the technology works. And I'm not talking about the core technology, so our chemical reactors, but I talk about the entire chemical process, just like pumps, compressors, and so on. So this is something which needs to be demonstrated, but then we don't see a hurdle or something which is preventing mass production, because this is actually what our mission is. We want to bring the chemical industry in serious. So it's not about building one large chemical plant somewhere in the desert. It's actually producing these chemical plants like cars, like heat pumps, like combined heat and power units, and by that produce the masses of these synthetic renewable fuels which we actually need to achieve the Paris climate goals.
Okay, we have another question. Can you repeat, please? Okay, Leonardo Massa, please go ahead.
Hi, hello. Thank you for your pitch. I have actually two questions. The first one is, what's your profit right now, and what are the main key competitors at the moment?
So profit, we make profit. It's depending on the project. Actually, we are talking about pilot projects. We have a certain margin on the plant sale model, which I don't want to disclose now, but it's a decent margin. Otherwise, we would not have been able to grow. But currently in the market ramp-up phase, we see a very big chance for earning money and earning the profit on sales of the renewable fuels, because everybody wants them, everybody needs them, especially in the aviation market. And here it's actually that we currently see that we are amongst the competitors which are able to produce the fuels on the lowest cost today. And by that, we achieve a certain margin. And you already mentioned the competitors. We see that competition is coming up. With our very compact modular technology, we see that there are some competitors in the US especially. But from a comparison, we can see that our technology is still a bit superior. And what we also see in the last month and year, that also companies from the fossil sectors or oil and gas sectors are more and more looking into these modular technologies. So there's a lot of room for cooperation, but there's also a lot of room for competition. Yeah. We see what's coming.
Thank you very much, Tim, for the presentation and for answering the questions. Time is over. If anybody of you has more questions to Tim and Ineratech, please schedule a meeting. And as always, please follow the form shared in the chat, and we're happy to set up a meeting or put you in contact with the company. And then we move forward to our fifth and last company of the session, which is Nanom EHF from Iceland. And I think the presenter will be Arman. Arman, please go ahead.
Hello. Hi. My name is Armin Kojic, founder and CEO of Nano. Sorry, trying to change the slide here. Hi, so imagine a future where everyone has access to an abundance of green and renewable energy in a sustainable way. Imagine driving your car in a single charge across Europe or not having to charge your phone for a month. Nanome is building that future using unique breakthrough materials and a patented nanotechnology that changes the way energy is stored and used. And this means higher performance material that have less of an environmental impact. The key to nanomaterial innovation has always been to get access to these nanoparticles. They've already been proved in a lab conceptually in many, many places, but the problem has been, how do you transfer that into mass manufacturing? What makes us unique is that we bring the nanotechnology out of the lab into the product, and in the process make the energy storage smarter, greener, more efficient, and longer lasting. We do this through engineering particles in a scalable and cost-effective way. So what this means is that we can use these enhanced materials that can be integrated into the battery technologies of today without changing anything in the process. What we're doing is we're increasing the size and the surface of the battery electrodes. Sorry, my slide is not coming. The slide is not changing now. There we go. So what it does is it increases the size and the surface of the battery electrodes, which creates that more efficient energy storage. And what we do is we engineer the particles to the need of the battery manufacturer, which means they don't need to change anything in the way their batteries are manufactured. We do this through a unique technology that's a patented system. The barrier to utilizing nanoparticles has been that mass production inability. And what we do is we have a unique particle accelerator, which makes us be able to create particles at a larger scale in a cost-effective way. Sorry, there's a real big delay in the slides here, so I'm sort of going along with the flow here. So what this means is that we can basically triple the capacity of the gigafactory by having our process near it and use the same source materials for that process. And of course, this ties into the market demand for nanoparticles because the demand for batteries, hence the demand for battery materials, is going at an exponential rate. And we're rightly positioned to be able to make an impact on that so that you use less materials, but that we also get a higher yield per nanoparticle. So this means that we can scale up easily and basically meet the demand of the industry, which is 10xing by 2030. So our competitive advantage is really based on the ability to scale. Battery manufacturers already know that the technology has a huge impact. What's really stopped them from implementing it is the fact that they are not able to quickly tailor it and integrate it into their own system. So, yeah. So this means that we're basically having an agility, an ability to tailor nanoparticles, and an ability to scale that sets us apart from our competitors. This means that we can basically go out, and what we do is we start with partnership pilots, which we already have a lot of those pilots with tier 1 car parts manufacturers and large conglomerates. What these pilots do is they generate revenue throughout and then become commercial agreements on the other side. And what we do is that through that validation phase, we're basically showing our partners that we can give them a competitive advantage. We're showing that the performance improves through benchmarking and the ability to create these unique materials that are not available in the marketplace unless you have access to this ability to tailor. And this results in revenue and contracts. So we're a unique team of entrepreneurs, visionaries, and scientists with experience from anything from NASDAQ companies to energy companies to nanotechnology. And we're the right set of individuals to create this future vision. And so to summarize, if you imagine how we affect the batteries of today, 10xing the performance of current batteries, making them last longer and cost less. But the real game changer is the future, where you can build new products, new ways of storing energy where the battery doesn't even exist, but the battery materials are integrated into the product, decentralizing energy and putting energy inside. So if you share our vision, please come and talk to us, and thank you very much.
Any questions to Arman and Nanom? I have an on-site question from Ines.
Thank you very much for the pitch. I have a question about what is the biggest hurdle to convince your customer to begin the pilot with you?
It's usually about, we thought it would be us coming in with specific suggestions for breakthrough materials that we had already developed. But what often happens is that they have an insight, they've done some research on nanotechnology, they've seen a glimpse into the performance improvement, but they have no way of achieving it. So the biggest hurdle is actually figuring out that crossover where they have unique materials that we can enhance, so our experience meeting their experience.
Thank you. Then we have another question from Anouk.
Yeah, thanks. I was confused actually on which electrode side you were making nanoparticles, whether it was on the anode and you were targeting silicon nanoparticles. Kind of what advantages do you have over your competitors that are doing similar things, and are you worried about poor conductivity and volumetric expansion?
Yeah, so our advantage is very much, you're correct, that we're doing anode and we're doing nano silicone, for example. And what our competitive advantage is that our process allows us to control factors that hugely impact the performance of the particles. For example, oxidation in silicone is a key to being able to meet that performance. A criteria of 100 to 150 nanometers is key, and these are all data points that sort of exist, but the technologies to tailor it into that data point is not out of reach for the current methods, and that's where our competitive advantage comes in.
One more question from the audience.
Yes, thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. I saw on your first slide that you're also looking in using graphite particles. Now, when I change the surface of a graphite particle, I think it must have quite a change in aging behavior of a battery. So could you say something in the improvements of aging of the battery that you can get using the technology?
Yeah, so we've actually put those particular particles into a new battery type that I can't really talk much about publicly, but the effect is that the cycle life becomes increased. What really happens on the nanoscale is that the performances change, and it's very different between what source materials you're using, how you mix it, how you put it into the process, etc. But the data we're seeing is basically showing these improvements in these weaknesses of some of these materials, which you can also advance with nano composites as well, which is a way to mix together different materials to counter each other from the weaknesses. So it's incredibly exciting.
Thank you very much, Arman. Great presentation. Thanks for answering the questions. If you have additional questions, I ask you to follow up with us via the form. Marcia is sharing the chat. If you visit us by stream, you can also reach out to me directly. You see the email address now displayed on the screen. So if you are interested in a one-to-one meeting with any of our companies, please reach out directly to me. For our on-site participants, I can also give you some business cards after the session. And we also have an overview about our upcoming EIC events, and we have another e-pitching coming soon in December 2021 on mobility and transportation. If you want to attend any of these sessions, just let me know and I put you on the invitation list. And with that said, I want to conclude and thank any of our companies that have presented today, on-site or online, and also the jury members for selecting the companies and for participating in this session. Thanks to have you all here, and if you are interested in meeting some agri-tech and food companies, we have a second session today in about 15 minutes in the agri-tech and food sector, so join us again online or here in the Classic Lounge, and we are already looking forward to see our companies. Thank you very much for joining.